When we start breaking down and talking about left hooks, or boxing in general, all the sport of boxing is, right? And obviously there's massive amounts of complexity and science. Consider boxing in the sport of fighting like the brain surgeon of the doctors, right? There's a general surgeon, right? And we all know that there's tons of those and there's some pretty shitty ones. But if you're a brain surgeon, you know what the fuck you're doing. Consider a pro boxer like a brain surgeon of what they do. They don't know all the shit, but they're really good at what they do know, all right? So, breaking boxing down very simplistically, guys, right, with not much explanation behind it, and breaking boxing down from a stance, a more square stance, as opposed to a more traditional boxing style stance, right? We're more square when we start dealing with our legs and the upper body, the entirety of the upper body. Not because, right, we need to defend kicks better, that's part of it. But the big reason is because we need to address the clinch. And that's why we keep our hands up as well, guys. We don't keep our hands up to block punches and kicks, that's part of it. But these are just a luxury, right? These just help block punches and kicks. But realistically, if your rhythm is just gangster as fuck, you can slip everything and never even get touched, right? But back on track, all right? So the entire sport of boxing, guys, it's broken down very simplistically from our perspective of dealing with the clinch in our legs in a more square stance, okay, is using our base, our feet, to balance our weight, our head and shoulders, so we can use our hips to weaponize our arms at the angles, right, in which we can generate proper power without having to open up, right? Opening up means letting my elbow detach from my core, my sense of power. Now, the reason our hips are the strongest part of our body, this is me, look, guys, I haven't done any literatural research on any of this. I'm just assuming it's because our body is just a ton of leverage points, from our fingers to our wrists, to our elbows, to our shoulders, from our toes to our ankles, to our knees. It all connects to our hips. Hips are the largest leverage point of the human body. So, it's why I assume it's the strongest. It's why we need to get it involved in every movement. So, all we're doing in boxing is basing our weight so we can use our hips, right, to weaponize our arms at these angles and then these angles here, right? Keeping my elbow tight with my core, I can turn my elbow over into any of these angles, operate my elbows at any of these angles with some sort of power, right? Uppercuts, hooks, overhands, right? And then straight punches. I mean, unless we start talking about spinning back fists and spinning elbows and, you know, get elbows involved, but the whole sport of boxing is just basing my weight so I can manipulate my hips, right? To turn my arms and hands into weapons at those angles that we just talked about. All right? So, again, we get ahead of ourselves when we're learning the left hook, right low kick, or just right kick in general. We want to learn it all together as one move. It's individual movements linked together with rhythm, guys. Come here, Mel. So, when throwing a proper left hook in the first place, guys, it's very important that we balance ourselves. We keep all of our points of leverage in line with our source of power, all right? So, to throw a proper left hook, I want to make sure that I get out and around. Again, I'm trying to throw a hook, okay? Not a straight. In order to generate my hip into a driving motion and drive my power into my target, I need to position my base and my angle in such a position, right, that I can generate power into my target, right? Make sense? So, all I want you guys working on is, like I said in, I think, one of the other videos, there's only two kinds of base step. There's an open base step, right, and then just a regular base step. All I want you guys taking is just a regular base step. In the exact same spot you take the other base step. Remember, what does base mean? Just means balancing my weight. Base and balance your weight out and around your target. Make sure your feet come with you and you stay balanced. I should still be able to move and have rhythm here. I get out and around the side of my target, out of their angle of power, so I can turn my hook, right, my angle, right, into a hook with power, okay? That's that, guys. please, any questions, ask.